I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard about the new S by Solar guitar line that was just released a couple weeks ago. I tried to get my hands on one as soon as I could. You may have seen my unboxing for this a couple days ago, but today we're going to do a full breakdown and review of this guitar, what I like about it, what I don't, and what I would be looking for in a guitar at this price point. The S by Solar line is tailored towards beginners or people on a budget. Maybe you don't want to spend $1,000 on a Solar, but you think they're cool, and maybe $250 is in your price range. First thing I want to talk about is what I would be looking for in a beginner guitar or a guitar in this price range. First thing, and one of the most important, is does the guitar stay in tune, and are you able to intonate it properly? For the intonation, when it came in, when I got it, it was a little bit off. I had to adjust the E and the D strings. They were both a little bit sharp up around the 12th fret. But once I've intonated them, they sound great. They're working great. And the higher frets are pretty well intonated. It was a very easy adjustment for those of you who don't know how to intonate your guitar. You just use these screws here. If your 12th fret here is sharp, what you want to do is tighten the screw, pulling the saddle closer to the bridge. If it's flat, loosen the screw up. It'll pull the saddle closer to the pickup here. Pretty easy adjustment. We also want to make sure that that guitar stays in tune. One of the biggest problems, I think, in beginner guitars is that they just don't stay in tune very well. And a lot of beginners won't realize that, and they may think their playing sounds bad, or it's just frustrating having to retune the instrument constantly. For a beginner instrument, or any instrument in general, you don't want to have to be retuning all the time. You just want to play. You want it to be easy. You don't want to have to do extra work before you even get to practicing. So far, this guitar has been staying in tune relatively well. I do have to retune it maybe just a little bit every hour or so of playing. I have been playing it a lot to make sure I can give you guys a full review of it. Some of you guys may know I'm a full-time guitar teacher, so I've been using this guitar for all my lessons this week just to really break it in, make sure everything's working well, make sure it stays in tune, and that it can hold up to a lot of use. The third thing I really emphasize that people look for when you're trying out a new guitar, especially if you're not quite sure what you're looking for, fret edges. What you want to do is put your fingers at the top and bottom of the fretboard here, and you just run it along the top, all the way down. See if you feel any of the frets poking out or any sharp edges. Sharp edges are really bad. You don't want that. You don't want to be cutting your fingers just trying to play guitar. The first thing I noticed when trying this guitar out is that the fretwork is actually phenomenal. So let's break down everything about this guitar. Let's talk about all the parts and the build and how it is. So we'll start up here at the headstock. We've got some unbranded Solar tuners here. They've been working pretty well. They're pretty tight. They're not very loose or anything. I didn't have to do any adjustments. They feel good to use. They've been holding tune relatively well so far. I haven't done a restring yet. I've only had the guitar for about a week now, so I haven't had to do any restring, but I'm sure they will hold up fine for that. I have adjusted the truss rod. So you take the cover off here, just the truss rod like normally. It was a little bowed coming in, so I adjusted it. I like a very straight neck. Was able to fix that up really quick. No issues there. I did get this Solar chug damper on here just to cut down on some extra harmonics while you're playing. If you have a lot of high gain in your playing, sometimes you can get some extra harmonics ringing out from up here. So that helps with that. The nut here is a PPS nut, which is just a fancy word for plastic. Sometimes they're not great. They can affect tuning stability. Haven't really had any issues with it yet, but if it's a problem for you, you can always upgrade. Moving on to the neck here, we do have a maple neck. I believe it's one piece. Can't really see because it's a painted finish neck. I normally do not like painted necks if they're glossy. This one's not glossy. This is a matte finish. And it feels really smooth. I actually really like it. But I'm assuming there's a maple one-piece neck under here. Doesn't really say on their website or anything. That's usually the most inexpensive type of neck. It's not a 5-piece maple or anything like that. The fretboard is interesting. It's black teakwood. Teakwood is basically a wood product, so it's not like a slab of wood like you might be used to. But what I've noticed is that might actually be what's causing the fretwork to be so good, because if you have a slab of wood, say an ebony fretboard, and it wasn't treated properly, it wasn't dried properly, it was created in a humid climate, when you ship the guitar, it's possible that when the humidity gets out of that fretboard there, the fretboard may shrink, which is what can often cause fret sprout, because the fretboard will shrink, but the frets are made of metal, in this case nickel. The nickel's not going to shrink. So the fretboard can shrink, and that's what causes the frets to stick over the edge. So I think the black teakwood here is resistant to that kind of thing. That's just my theory, but it's been holding up very well so far. Of course, we have nickel frets on here. I'm not a huge fan of nickel frets. If you guys have played on nickel versus stainless steel frets before, stainless steel frets are very smooth for doing bends on. The nickel frets can feel a little bit rough, and over time, they do wear down. I'm talking a period of many years. If you're playing a lot, you'll eventually need to get your frets redone. On stainless steel frets, you're not going to have to worry about that, but they are significantly more expensive. There's no way you're going to get a $250 guitar with stainless steel frets on them. They're significantly harder to work with. Overall, really nice neck, 24 frets, usually what most metal guitarists will be looking for. You just want to have that option to go all the way to 24th if you need to. It is a bolt-on neck. Of course, that's pretty much at this price point, you're always going to get a bolt-on neck. Some people prefer that even on super high-end guitars. I like neck through or set neck. Personally, the only reason I really care is just it feels a bit smoother going up to those high frets. If you got a bolt-on neck, sometimes it can feel a little bit awkward when your hand kind of hits that wall there. But the cutaway is great, still fully playable, very easy to reach all the way up to that 24th fret there. Nothing to worry about. Bolt-on necks are also super convenient if you need any work done on your guitar, or if for some reason the neck has any damage. It's very easy to get a new neck if you have a bolt-on. If you have a neck through body and your neck breaks, you're kind of screwed. We've also got a 14-inch fretboard radius and a C-shaped neck. Feels pretty similar to like a Stratocaster neck, if you guys are familiar with those. And one other thing that I like about this guitar as opposed to the higher end Solars is we have fret dots on the front. On most Solars, you just have their logo there on the 12th fret. But here we have all the dots on the front, which are not beneficial really for me as the player, but for people I may be teaching, for videos I may be doing on YouTube, it can be very beneficial to be able to see more easily where I'm playing in relation to the fret markers. Moving on to the body here, it is made of poplar. It has this matte black finish, which is pretty smooth, pretty sleek. I like it a lot. I think it looks great. Definitely prone to fingerprints though, so you're gonna want to keep a microfiber cloth on hand if you want to keep your guitar looking pristine to wipe those off. Plastic black pickguard there, of course. Looks pretty nice, all blacked out. What's interesting too is we have this bridge setup kind of like a classic Telecaster style where the pickup is connected to the bridge here. Instead of directly mounted into the body or a pickup ring, we got mounted right into this Telecaster style bridge pickup. And another feature that I think is great for beginners or people who just want a simple guitar, don't have to worry about a ton of things. We just have one volume knob here. Don't have to worry about tone knob. For those of you who don't know, the tone knob, if you have it all the way up, it's basically normal. And when you turn the tone knob down, you're actually rolling off the high end or the treble on your guitar. So this is basically just set to not have the tone knob rolled off all the time. And then you just have to worry about the volume, the one bridge pickup, you could just chug away all day. So I did have to set the guitar up a little bit just for my personal preferences. The action was a little bit high. It was very simple to adjust with their fixed bridge here. I was able to get it pretty low without having any kind of fret buzz or anything like that. And it feels really great to play. So let's play around a little bit, play a few riffs so you can hear how this thing sounds. I'm gonna be playing through a Line 6 Helix with a custom preset. And then we'll talk about whether or not I would recommend getting an S by Solar if it's a good buy for this price range. So let me know what you guys think about how it sounds. The pickup here isn't a Seymour Duncan or anything like that. It's just a custom Solar pickup they make in-house, and it's pretty high output. I think it sounds pretty decent, but let me know what you guys think. So on to the big question, right? Is this guitar any good? Worth the price point? Would I recommend it? And yeah, definitely. I think this guitar is excellent. For $250, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better guitar than this. Anyone looking for a guitar in this price range and you're willing to order something that may take a week or two to get there, as opposed to just going out to your local store and seeing if their Squires are any good, I would definitely recommend getting one of these 100%. I think it's awesome. I think what Ola England is doing with Solar guitars is incredible. Depending on where you live, Solar or S by Solar might not be available yet, but if they are, I can wholeheartedly recommend this. Just so you guys know, I'm not sponsored or anything by Solar. I just think this is a nice guitar. It's been a lot of fun to play with so far. I do like the simplicity of it too. Just that one volume knob, nothing to worry about. It's on and off. That's all you got to do. I would definitely recommend this over most other guitars in this price point. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you guys like S by Solar? Do you have any Solar guitars? Are you thinking about getting one of these new S by Solars? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a subscribe for more content like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great one, guys.